Welcome to the How Did Show, where interesting people answer the questions, how did I get here? And how in the hell did I get here? With your host, Donovan Corneets.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for another dope episode of the How Did Show. We got a special one for you today, man. So check this out. Today's guest is an entrepreneur and social media personality with his hands in marketing, public relations, and radio hosting, among many other things that we'll get into. This New York native is the owner, creator of One PR Incorporated, and had the privilege of being a reality show contestant on BET's Grand Hustle with rapper T.I. Man, y'all show some love for my homie, Jonathan Torres. What's going on, man?
What up, D? My man Donovan. What's the good word, my brother? How are you?
Man, I'm feeling great. Good to see you, man. I know it's been a while since we got to hang in person, thanks to COVID messing everything up, but it's really dope to connect with you again. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing excellent, man. I'm blessed. The fact that, you and I are both here able to communicate and speak, and then, allowing me to be on your platform, I'm truly blessed and gracious. So thank you for your time.
Man, it's an honor having you on, man. You're a good dude. So enough of us like gassing each other up, man. Get misty. So what I'll do is let's just get this thing started, right? So this is the How Did Show, right? So that means we're going to start things off with you answering the question, how did I get here? So you don't have to go back too far, but how did you become Jonathan Torres?
Cool. So without going back too far, on December 15th, 1983, a star was born in Lenox Hill Hospital by two people by the name of Sonia and Jose Torres, right? So fast forward 38 years. Just recently, had my 38th birthday. So again,
hey, happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. It has been a wonderful journey, right? I'm blessed. I've been through so much, and it's a relative statement because all of us, we all have a path, we all have a journey, we've all gone through our own things. But I've gone through so many ups and downs, goods and not so goods, some health issues that I've been able to endure and go through and beat, by the grace of God. But in terms of where we're here right now, it's just been a lot of hard work, a lot of diligence, and just being able to be gracious in every moment. You know what I'm saying? So, I can go into details, but as of right now, life is great. I'm continuing to use my skill set to be able to apply that to different aspects of different businesses. And from an entrepreneurial perspective, I'm always looking for the next product or project to get involved in.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, man. So when it comes to obviously you had One PR, probably like the first thing you were really known for, right, is PR. So how did you know that public relations was something you wanted to get into? And piggyback on that, how did you know, damn, I think I might be good at this. Let me look into this. So how did that happen?
Sure. So One PR, number one public relations was established in November of 2011. So what happened was earlier that year, I wound up getting in contact with a company called Crystal Glacier Water. It was actually this really, really dope bottle of water. I don't know if I have it here. Probably somewhere in my closet, right? There was a company called Crystal Glacier Water. I wound up investing some money from my 401k. Wound up purchasing quite a bit of pallets from a company based out of Alaska. They had a warehouse in Jersey. I took a leap of faith, invested like $6,000. Wound up bringing like 5 pallets from a truck to my garage at home. I wound up started taking that product and started doing product placement and brand ambassador, bringing it to a lot of restaurants, gentlemen's clubs, and product placement for music videos. Once I started doing that, people started associating me, Jonathan Torres, to this particular brand called Crystal Glacier Water, which at that time was kind of going viral before viral was like a thing, right?
Right.
Social media was out, you know what I mean, but it wasn't like how it is now. Again, 11 years later. Fast forward, I started seeing that this particular product allowed me to get into a lot of doors in many aspects, you know what I mean? So then what I did was, as opposed to me just being a brand ambassador, let me maybe make a public relations and marketing business and make it seem as if this company is my client. So I kind of piggybacked off my own wave and then established One PR as an S Corp back in 2011. And then I made Crystal Glacier Water one of my first official clients.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, man. That just it's just another like testament to your grind, your hustle, man. That's dope.
Mhm.
And so did that was that also like your way into the marketing space was through that same Crystal Glacier water?
Absolutely, yeah. So once I started doing that, I started focusing more on the entertainment and hip hop industry. So I was going to some of the biggest gentlemen strip clubs in New York. I was placing them in some of the biggest videos. At that time, the video that I did it on was a video called "The Summer's Too Hot" by the Lox, and that was the first time the Lox had actually come back, which a New York hip hop group had come back together from having a little bit of a hiatus. So that video got millions and millions of views, and then you seen, the product being placed there. So once people started associating the product to me, and then 1PR being the bridge between both, I started, acquiring other clients for marketing, and also started to get my feet wet per se more in the music industry. So I started to assist up and coming and known artists on marketing aspects, right? So I started getting my hands and my feet in the door of music videos, models. Started getting involved in internet radio, and then that kind of went to FM, XM radio. Started doing podcasts before they were kind of well-known internet-based radio shows, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a catalyst to propel myself and 1PR for everything. Correct? Yes.
So how did that go with the transition to radio? Because I know you've done some like on-air hosting and some things on radio and XM with some like DJs and people that were already in the biz. So how did that come about? Or like how was that transition going from, you know what, I'm gonna take a shot on this water to now I'm on Sirius XM on air. So how was that?
Yeah, so it was actually wonderful because during that video shoot that I spoke about, the Lox, actually one of the co-directors was a gentleman by the name of Nelson Delgado. He goes by the infamous Amadeus. He's actually a very well-known entrepreneur, as well as a XM radio personality on Shade 45. Okay. So him and I actually got acquainted, became really good friends, and wound up traveling and stuff like that. So we wound up taking a trip to the Dominican Republic, his wife, some of our friends, and collectively. And while we were there, we actually bonded very well. And again, the catalyst, the meeting point was that initial video with the Lox. So we wound up just becoming good friends. And at that point, he was a model caster. He was an artist. Then started pivoting to magazine, then videography, and then also then wound up, eventually landing his spot on Sirius XM Shade 45. Again, as a personality, still to this day, doing very well for himself. And he just kind of brought me on board and kind of put me under his wing and said, listen, I got a lot of things going on. I'm trying to build a team and organization on the I Get Out of Media Group. And then I was able to kind of like assist him to the best of my abilities and use my skill set to kind of bring the PR marketing to infrastructure that he already had. So again, it all mirrors back to the water. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. Hey, look, it all started with the water.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's dope, man. And it's cool. I actually had Gray Rizzy, who's also a personality on Shade 45 and Hip Hop Nation. Had him on the show a few weeks back. So I understand how dope it is to be involved with Sirius XM in that space, man. That's a great platform. So good.
So let's also talk about you and your affiliation. If I'm not mistaken, did you not have a situation with?
Well, I mean, with I mean, it's not about me, but I did the voice of Pandora Now on a station that started on Sirius XM a few years ago. And when they launched, I was they had a male voice, a female voice. So I was the male voice for when they launched a couple years back. So yeah, that was kind of like my gateway into it. And ended up being how I met Gray Rizzy and kind of got in with some really great people over at Sirius XM, some producers and
fun fact
people. Yeah, there you go. Ding, fun fact. But yeah, all right. So before we move on, we got to talk about Grand Hustle because I mean that's such a big part of how many people became to know you, right? On a bigger scale. So how did that come about? What was that process like of you going from just maybe hearing about it for casting to you being chosen and actually being there for the show with T.I.?
One of the most random things in the history of randomness, right? So one day I was on my computer on a late night tip. I was on Facebook and I seen an ad. And then the ad said, do you have what it takes to be a hustler? And I'm like, hustler, that's that definition of me. That's who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. So I wound up going on an ad, and I didn't know to the legitimacy of what it even entailed. It just says, do you have what it takes? So I wound up going on an ad. Mind you, let me tell you something. The ad was maybe like 100-question questionnaire.
Wow. Okay.
And it was extremely thorough. It wasn't like one word answer. You had to put together like paragraphs.
Yeah.
I literally was there for 2 hours doing that,
Filling it
the
out.
application for that, right? 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a random California number. So I'm looking, I thought it was one of my homies from LA calling me up just to say what's up. So I pick up, you know what I mean? And it was actually a casting agent. I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is so-and-so from this casting agency. We submitted your application for something that you applied for online. They didn't get into specifics, obviously.
Right.
So they were like, let me ask you a couple questions. Ask you some questions. Like, okay, thank you for your information. We'll be in touch shortly. 3 days later, I get a secondary call from another person. I'm like, oh, this is so-and-so following up about the first call. I'm like, okay, great. Then after that, they're like, we want to do a Skype interview. I'm like, okay, great. So a week later, they wound up doing a Skype interview, and I wound up talking to a person. I was actually the last person that particular person was interviewing during a Skype interview. Had a great time. Still had no idea what it was.
Yeah, you had no clue what it was for.
Nothing. So I wound up then getting an email like 2 weeks later that said, oh, congratulations, you have now been pre-selected to be able to go to a television show based out of Atlanta, Georgia. We'll send you your tickets, fly to Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
Like, what?
And, okay, yes. And then from there, I wound up staying at a hotel in Atlanta by the airport. And I was sequestered there for 5 days. So literally had no communication with the outside world. I was stuck in a hotel, couldn't leave my hotel other than to go to the gym, supervise. And again, at that point, I still had no idea what was going on.
That's crazy. It's like
They were
some
still trying to
secret
catch us.
FBI thing or something you was in, man.
Absolutely.
So like while you were just sequestered for 5 days, like you just there, like were there interviews and like stuff you were doing, or you just
So they were interviewing us, and they were like, they interviewed us like twice, and they were kind of throwing little hints without saying what it was, but they were saying something about entrepreneur, something about mogul, Atlanta, music, fashion. I don't know what got into my head, but I was like, yo, it could be maybe like Jazzy Faye, maybe it could be T.I. Like, I don't know. So I was kind of narrowing down who was popping and who was known in Atlanta, right? So while I was at the hotel, I had Netflix. I just wound up watching a whole bunch of videos about T.I. Interview videos, Hot 97 radio interview, just so I could kind of like find out everything about him. I don't know why, but T.I. just resonated with me.
Yeah.
Yup. And it's funny because even while I was there, I started doing the interviews. They also had to do some psychological exam, like a 300-question, 2-hour psychological exam, where somebody was there with like one of those lie detector tests. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow.
Just to get on the show. Come to find out, after the fact, I wound up getting a knock on the door on like the 5th day, and I opened the door. And the casting director was like, you're in. I was like, I can't believe it. Come to find out, I was actually one out of 16 people that got picked out of 10,000 applicants.
Wow, that's crazy.
One of 16. So the odds crazy.
So by the time that they said like you're in, did you know like, okay, this is a reality show, this is a competition, or you still were just like, it's a TV show, I still don't know?
We still didn't know the specifics because at that point
you just knew you were in.
Yeah, I knew I was in. You know what I'm saying? At that point, so they said the next day, you'll be able to. We're gonna take you to where you got to go and everything like that. We couldn't. Once we were downstairs, we couldn't talk to nobody. We couldn't interact. We was kind of like mute. Like you had like a little flipping. You couldn't say anything. They put us in 4 individual vans. We pull up into a huge mansion in is it Buckhead? Yeah, Buckhead or Bankhead? Buckhead. Yeah, Bankhead's the hood. Buckhead. Yeah,
Bank.
Yeah. So one day putting in a mansion in Buckhead, and we're like, yo, what's going on? And then we walk in the door, we see one of the hosts, and then we walk inside, and eventually see Tip.
So like because I actually saw the show and I was a fan of it, and that connection was because I was the promo voice of the show. And that's how the whole connection kind of came on BET. And so I said, well, I'm part of the show, I guess, as the voice of it. So I wanted to check it out. And when I saw it, I was like, yo, this is this is pretty wild. Like I liked it. I got into it. So like that episode where you guys walk in, you're like, whoa, and all that. So that was like that day that you really had no idea, and you just went into a random mansion and Tip comes out.
Yep. That's exactly how it was. I mean, like I said, everything about the whole situation was random, from the way I did the ad, from the way I was sequestered in a hotel for 5 days, from the way that we wound up there walking into a mansion. Everything was just random as heck. And I think that was part of, I guess, the narrative. They wanted
they wanted it to be,
yeah. So
that's wild. You're like, all right, I'm here. Okay. And T.I. just walked out. Okay. That's why. Did you have to like explain to your family, like you've gone for 5 days, but you can't tell them why or where or anything?
I mean,
that
must
have been crazy.
The thing about it is, once we walked into the hotel, we went to a separate room. They took away your phone, your internet, your laptop. You had no communication with the outside world. The only time you could call somebody was on like dark days, unless you had like a sick family member or a child, but you couldn't communicate with the outside world. There was no television, no internet, no cell phone, nothing. We were in a mansion with 16 complete strangers and just film, crew, and staff for 2 months.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But look, man, it ended up being a really dope platform for you, exposure for you. And I'll make sure to ask. We'll see if it comes up in the second half. But I gotta ask you about Baby Oil King. Like that,
it will come up. It always does.
It always does. I mean, hey, you had t-shirts, bro. We got to talk about it.
It's inevitable.
But no, I love it, man. That's really great. And I mean, to be honest with you, man, it kind of, is a testament to just like taking that leap, man, taking a shot, taking a chance. I mean, you could have easily seen that and was like, oh, this is some old spam, or this isn't real. And then, or you saw something that was 100 questions and you're like, yeah, I'm not doing this 100 questions. I'm going to bed.
I really don't know what motivated me to continue to stay with the ad, because any other time I would exit it out.
Exactly.
But for some reason, I was already committed. I'm like, I didn't waste an hour of my life for it.
I might as well finish it.
I might as well finish it and see what comes out of it. One out of 16 out of a total of 10,000 applicants was what we made it, man.
That's wild.
And Jay said, we made it.
Yeah, there you go. So real quick before we move on, so what do you feel is next for you, man? Like what's the next thing for Jonathan Torres, and how you're going to make your mark on this world?
Yeah, well, as of late, I've been introduced to several opportunities, specifically in the cryptocurrency space. Okay. So I'm super excited. One of my really good friends by the name of Gerard Williams, he goes by the moniker Hip Hop Gamer. He's very one of the most influential people in the gaming industry, and actually one of the most affluent African Americans in the gaming industry in the whole world. A good friend of mine based out of Queens introduced me to a company called Saitama. And Saitama is a cryptocurrency company right now with a lot of utility and a lot of potential upside. So as of late, in the beginning of November, he wound up introducing me to a couple of people who are part of like the executive team. And long story short, wound up getting hired to do some billboard placement in New York, and Las Vegas, and also some social media marketing for them. And hence since then, man, it's been blowing up. I've been able to meet so many people worldwide on the Twitter space, which is kind of like Clubhouse, but now on Twitter. And he's able to have communication with people and have a large community of over 285,000 people. And I'm just happy to be part of that. And I've just been utilizing my downtime and my skill set to be able to focus more on the cryptocurrency and the financial literacy side of things now.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, in this day and age, you got to be able to diversify and like put your hand in as many things as possible, man. Get multiple streams of income and multiple streams of influence on what you're doing in life, man. So yeah, good for you, bro.
Thank you. Pardon me, I'm just putting on my charger, but I'm multitasking. It's all good.
Yeah. Go ahead and get your power. So
yes,
what we're gonna do right now is, while you getting plugged up, we're getting ready for the next phase of the How Did Show. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
We are going to spin the wheel of what? So let's get this thing popping right now.
Let's get it. Give it a nice Wheel of Fortune spin.
There you go. Oh, for sure, man. Only the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin this wheel, and whatever it lands on, you got to answer honestly. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it.
Let's do That's a nice wheel.
Actually,
hands.
Head hands. Yeah. So
Head
what I'm gonna
hands.
do actually, what's wild is, and
Pause.
I'm gonna just like, I'll talk to
Pause.
my video guy and edit this, but I still want to answer. But this has come up like for the last 3 people. So we're gonna spin this damn thing again. But
Okay.
but I still want your answer. So you're getting a 2 for. So
Okay,
basically,
nice.
yeah, all right. So what head hands is,
Hey, yo.
you have to choose. Yeah, nah, we not rated
PG-13.
X. Basically what it is if you had to choose gun to your head, you got to get mutated. You either have to have a head that's way too big for your body or hands that are way too small for your body. Which do you choose and why?
Well, first of all, I'll choose the head because I already have a huge cabeza.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I already got a big head, so it's not far-fetched. So I'm already kind of used to that already. Like one time, this girl called me boss baby because I was wearing a suit. So she called me boss baby. I was like, yo, she's just really Mortal Kombat finished me on that one.
Yeah, finish him.
And also, if you have a big head, you should have a bigger brain, so you'd be more intelligent, supposedly.
I like the way you think, bro.
You know what I mean?
I'm the same way, man. I got a huge head. Like all my hats, they like on the last notch. Like
you got the I used to get the when there was the fitteds, I had to get 8 and better.
Oh
8,
man, yeah,
7
the fitteds, you had to like special order the fitteds. It's like, yeah, we don't have your size in here, sir. This is for human heads. Like, oh, my bad. Okay, you got to go over there with a hippo heads. All right, so we're gonna that's a good answer though. All right, we're gonna spin this thing again, man, because I got to get a different one. All right, let's go.
Two for.
Hidden talent. Do you have a hidden talent?
Do I have a hidden talent? I thought about this before and nothing came to my head off the top, but I do make really good drinks, right? So
drinks, okay.
Part of my entrepreneurial ventures, right? There's a drink in New York called the Nutcracker. Are you familiar with the term Nutcracker? Not like the Nutcracker of Christmas, but it's a drink called the Nutcracker. So anybody out there that's a non-New Yorker, Google Nutcracker drink. It's actually my friend, again, infamous Amadeus from Shade 45. Long story short, winded up making this drink. He didn't invent it, but he took it mainstream. And long story short, winded up doing what he had to do and winded up getting a call from National Geographic, right? Because they heard about his drink. Right,
wow.
Wound up putting him on a show called Moonshine Mayhem, Underworld Inc., about people that make the moonshine, and they brought to New York. They did a whole show by him, a 20-minute segment on National Geographic, which wound up propelling him to actually get him on Shade 45. It's a whole way connected, but long story short, he wound up selling me the recipe, the trademark recipe. He trademarked it, not owns it, and then I wound up taking that and wound up making a significant amount of non-taxable income the past 5 years. Yes, significant amount. Uncle Sam has no idea how much money I made in Nutcrackers the past couple of years. This usually happens from May to the beginning of September in the summertime. So we hit at the parks. It's an alcoholic frozen drink called a Nutcracker in a 16-ounce bottle. Yeah.
So that's you. You're holding on to the Nutcracker. Okay.
Yep. So I mean, I'm really good at it. So that's another thing that I'm known for outside of my other entrepreneurial ventures.
I had no idea. Look at that. And we've known each other for a couple of years now, and I had no idea.
I'll make sure to.
I'm gonna here's the thing. Next time I'm in New York, especially if it's in the summer months, because I ain't trying to have no frozen drink in January. But I need to see what this Nutcracker is all about, bro.
Got you.
That reminds me of there's a drink called the Painkiller that
all the mixed things in it.
So this was back in like 2002. I went on a cruise with my family, and part of the cruise was like going to Virgin Islands. So we like St. Thomas, St. Croix, and I want to say it was on St. Croix. Me and my brother were just going out to just find a local bar, right? So we're walking around, and we found this boardwalk like right on the water, beautiful, crystal clear water. And this is a true story. So we were looking for like what was going to be popping, because we only had like, if you know how cruises go, you only had like a few hours, like while you still on the island before you had to get back on the boat. So we're like, yo, we got to find where it's popping, like where it's going to be a good time. And so we're walking along, and we saw some little bars, people sitting. And my brother told me, he's like, look, if you want to know where the best bar is in a like place where you're not used to, he's like, go to where all the white people are that are like loud and crazy. He's like, that's how you know it's going to be crazy. And I was like, all right, cool. So sure enough, we're walking along this boardwalk, and it was just like bar, restaurant, bar. And then one place was just like, yeah, bro, yeah, bro. Like screaming, loud music. We're like, bing, we got it. So we go in there, and it's wild. It's packed. It's the only place that's packed with people. And my brother told the bartender, it was like this white dude with dreads, total like stereotype of like the surfer guy, right? Like what's the drink? What's the signature drink? He said, oh, you got to get a painkiller.
Yeah.
All right. And so he makes us two of them. He makes each of us one of them. And he said, well, just letting you know, it's illegal for me to give you more than two at one time.
Illegal?
Like, oh, yeah, he's like, there's like an ordinance that I can't serve you more than two at one like visit. And I was like, what? I was like, well, cool. let's go for it. So apparently this drink is like light rum, dark rum, 151 rum. I want to say it was like orange juice, coconut cream, nutmeg, and pineapple juice. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, amazing. Like taste amazing. I ain't taste any alcohol, all that in it, nothing. We're like, you know what? We can get two. Give me two. So we get a second one. We're going through it, talking, meeting random people. We're like, oh man, all right, we got to go. We got to head back. Because, we had to walk all the way from where we were. Bro, we got off the bar stool. It was like, the two drinks hit us. We're like, yo, how are we going to get back to this boat? Like we were like, I don't know if I can like make it, but like both of us were trying to walk. Long story short, we ended up figuring out a way. We actually got someone to walk with us, like some random person to like walk with us. We gave him like $5 to like walk with us so that we could find our way back to the ship. But anyway, we tried to figure it out. And so when we get back, we're like, because we didn't know the recipe, we just knew what was in it. So we were trying to recreate it, and then never really got it exactly right. But anyway, we got close. But that was one of the wildest like drinks.
So the painkiller, and what country was this?
I want to say this was St. Croix.
St. Croix,
Virgin Islands, cool. U.S. Virgin Islands. I want to say it was St. Croix. It was either St. Thomas or St. Croix, but I'm almost sure it was St. Croix. And apparently they said the history of it was like way back in the day. It was invented from like soldiers coming over on like being deployed or whatever, and they would come for like a good time, and it was supposed to like help them with their injuries and stuff, get them their minds off the pain. So they called them painkiller.
You were so drunk, you didn't even know you got shot in the neck.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't even mind anymore. Like, what? Just a bullet hole. That'll clear up. But anyway, yeah, man, that's crazy. So all that to say, Nutcracker is going down.
Got you.
All right. So now that we talked about alcohol, second half of the How This Show is you answering the question, how in the hell did I get here? So what situation, event, occurrence in your life made you stop and say, yo, Jonathan, how the hell did I get here?
Well, to kind of piggyback up, we mentioned before the whole thing with the Grand Hustle show. Like I said, the whole randomness of it, how everything transpired. But let's fast forward to episode 6, where we were halfway done with the show. And T.I. comes in on the Grand Hustle show. He comes in and says, hey, you guys, we have about 8 contestants left, halfway done with the show. You guys have been doing a good job. I know you guys have been working. I'm going to give you guys the day off. Okay, well, oh, thanks, T.I. What a good guy. We're going to have a barbecue. We're going to invite some friends over. We're going to have some music and a DJ. Have a good time. I'll be back later. So if any of those that did watch the show, yes, T.I. tricked us. He bamboozled us, he hoodwinked us, right?
Run him up, led us stray.
All of that allowed us to have an open bar. Wanted to see what it was, and long story short, that was a test for that particular episode to see how people would be in true character in his absence. And I wound up drinking quite a bit of Coronas, Corona beer, that is.
And you got to specify nowadays.
Yeah, Corona beer, and I was a little bit under the influence of alcohol, and somehow, some way, mysteriously, a bottle of baby oil ends up in my hands. Some
Like
Johnson
magic.
and Johnson, like literally just like this.
Bing.
Like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I got a couple of females tapping my shoulder. I'm like, hey, JT, they call me JT, Torres, whatever. Hey, John, hey, Puerto Rico, hey, Poppy, could you rub some baby oil on my back? I was like, okay, sure, no problem. I don't mind doing that. And then after that, another girl was like, oh, yeah, when you're done, could you do my back? Another girl was like, when you're done, can you do my legs? I was like, hey, I don't mind. Why not? I'll be the official baby oil applicator for the afternoon. Why not? You know, sharing is caring.
Exactly.
Wow, what did that turn into, right? So I wound up oiling 95% of the female population of that party that afternoon. And I wound up getting deemed the baby oil king.
The baby oil king.
Yes. And then when, you know, that wound up being the demise of my character on that episode, because I wound up getting kicked off of the show.
Getting eliminated from the baby oil.
Yeah, because T.I. thought I was a liability to the Grand Hustle organization, which I understood was coming from. Around that same time, it was the whole Me Too movement, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. So it was a very sensitive subject at that time. But for the record, I had all the females' consent on video and on record with audio. So in a court of law would have held up.
There you go. Well, look, man, I don't know if you're the first, and you definitely won't be the last, that alcohol and baby oil got you in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, I was transparent. You know, I wore my heart on my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? I admitted to everything that was done. Again, nothing was done the wrong way, but I admitted to it. Hey, listen, you know what? I was a little inebriated, and some baby oil was administered, and it was what it was. You know what? There was a lot of beautiful women in there. A lot of women from Magic City and pinups and other places of Atlanta that are well known.
Fine institutions.
Yes, institutions.
Well, I love how proper you described it. Baby oil was administered.
Yes.
I love it. I'd be very professional in the baby oil application. So how did that turn into, like, I mean, I guess it was just the hustle, right? That it turned into Baby Oil King merchandise.
Yeah, well, because after that, I wound up selling T-shirts. I wound up hosting events all over the country, in Atlanta, South by Southwest in Texas, Boston, Philadelphia. You know, I wound up getting a lot of notoriety from that show because I was told by the producer after the fact that episode was actually the #1 watch episode out of all 12 in the season, right? Just because it was just fun. It was like girls going wild kind of vibe. It was just, there was liquor, there was women, there was guys having a good time. It was a pool party.
It was baby oil.
It was baby oil involved, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a good time, you know what I mean? So that actually helped propelled me. And I kind of piggybacked off of the Baby Oil King to then push the 1PR brand more into other aspects, you know. But one thing I could tell you was that in one end of the spectrum, sometimes I kind of feel like I didn't take it to a further extent in terms of how I really could have took that with like TikTok and Triller now, and
right.
could have made it more viral. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm glad that I didn't, because I didn't want to get typecasted, right? I didn't want to eventually, you know, when I want to do business ventures with people, I didn't want to necessarily be known as just a Baby Oil King. That's cool. That was a time. I got my little 15 minutes of fame on television. It was dope, but I didn't want that to define me.
Right.
So on the other end, opposite end of the spectrum, I'm glad that I didn't really kind of take it and drag it, because it allowed me to then continue to do entrepreneurial ventures, you know, with music, entertainment, even opening up my credit repair business during the pandemic. And fast forward now, you know, doing cryptocurrency marketing and promotions for big companies. So
it could have hurt you if you went too far.
Correct. I think it could have hurt the brand. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's really good and that's smart. But I mean, like I said, man, that's just a testament to the hustle of like, all right, I got eliminated, but guess what? Boom, buy a T-shirt. Now I'm gonna be hosting. So you ended up winning anyway. Real quick. So like, obviously, you know, everything is filmed ahead of time, and you're still like sworn to secrecy before the actual episode. So how long was it from you getting eliminated to when the actual episode ran so that you could actually promote Baby Oil King?
Forever. If you ever see the movie Sandlot, forever. Yeah. The end of the show where I got eliminated was like, I think like a mid to end of October 2017. The show didn't air until July 2018. So it was like a good 7-8 months that I had to be on hush hush because we had to sign non-disclosures.
Right, of course.
And you know, that could have been a lot of legalities behind that if I would have kind of like let it slip. So I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say anything about BET, T.I., Baby Oil, nothing. Like the only time that we could say something was when the commercial aired the week prior.
Yeah.
And people were like, funny. Is that Torres on TV? And I got
I couldn't tell you.
I even had friends of mine that were actually incarcerated that were doing a lot of time calling me like, yo, bro, I see you on the commercial, bro. Was that you? I'm like, yeah, that was me. Yeah. 2 or 3 jail phone calls like, yo, bro, I see you outside, bro. Crazy.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that had to be so bananas knowing how wild it was. Yeah. And you just got to sit on that for like 8-9 months. Just like, like, hey man, you didn't you say you needed baby oil? Baby oil? Nah, I don't need no damn baby oil. What you talking about? I don't know nothing about baby oil.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy, man.
That's wild. But look, man, what would you say was like if you could narrow it down to one, was like the best lesson or like life lesson you took from your experience on Grand Hustle?
The biggest thing that I took from that is, you have to, when you're in an element, you have to know your surroundings, right? Meaning that, granted, I had a good time, Baby Oil King, all love, right? But if I would have acted in accordance and maybe been a little more professional, a little more reserved, not necessarily knowing that it was a setup, other people were watching, right? You know, shout out to my girl Crystal Gunner. I love KG, but maybe I could have won that show.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, you know, because even when I got eliminated, the producer on the show were like, oh, damn, bro, we had an internal bet. We thought you were going to take it. Like, they were telling me, like, yo, I'm sorry to see you leave, but we thought you were going to win. And that hurt me because I'm like, damn, not only could I win a 6-figure salary, but I've also maybe could have taken another route, maybe live in Atlanta. You know, things happen for a reason, you know, but the ultimate, you know, kind of life lesson is just like, when people say, you know, your character is who you are when no one was looking, not saying that I am the Baby Oil King 24/7, but what I'm saying is that, you know, be who you are, be in the moment, but be aware of your surroundings because you never know who's watching, you know, in any capacity. So it's always important for you to 24/7, 365, you know, be mindful and be conscious of who you are and at the core, you know, what you represent, because someone could perceive you to be a certain way that may not be what it is.
Man, that's deep. Message.
Everybody
watching. Message. Well, look, man, thank you so much for your time, bro. I loved having you on the show, man. And I've been honored to like call you a friend. We've been dogs ever since we kind of met, like you said. You know, and
we hung out 3 times that week. 3 times.
Yeah, man. Came down to ATL.
The brunch.
Yeah, with the club, brunch, and then the award show.
BET Social, yeah. It was awesome, man. I was honored to be next to you, man. You're such a dope person, like such a good person. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show, but very seldom in life do you come around just good-hearted people that have good intention.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? That are very, very really good at their craft. You know what I'm saying? And what you've been able to do with your current podcast, to the VO life, to your clothing, your merch, you know what I'm saying? And you're just building an empire of voiceover, man. I'm just super, look at that. That's what I'm saying, branding, #VO life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. I'm just, you know, so happy to be in the presence of somebody like you, because people that don't know who you are, they will know. And so many people subconsciously know you, but don't know who you are as a person, because the sound and the name to the face,
sound,
you know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot, bro.
For real. So to me, that's, you know, we're definitely going to be, you know, eternally, you know, grateful and friends forever, you know, and I just look forward to seeing your journey as an entrepreneur and your ventures, man. For real. I'm super.
Likewise, bro, man. I appreciate that. So look, man, before again, man, just all this love in the room today.
Always love, baby.
So let the people know how they can find you, and you know, maybe something that you got coming up that they can look out for. How can the people be in touch with you and follow you on social media and everything?
Sure. Yeah. So very easy. You can follow me on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, everything at TORRES, the number 1, the letters PR, like public relations or Puerto Rico. Torres1PR@gmail.com. ho. And yeah, just contact me on any platform. You know, also besides doing my PR and marketing, I also do own a credit repair business called One PR Credit Solutions LLC. I've been doing this since the pandemic, and I've been able to change, you know, over 250 people's lives in the past year and a half, and help them, you know, with financial literacy and everything like that. So that's also a blessing as well, man. So I just want to thank you once again for having me. You know, thank all the people watching you and stuff like that, you know, to be able to continue to build your brand and share and everything like that. And if I could just bother you, man, before we leave, if you can conclude the interview with a dope Donovan voice and conclude it like that for like 15 seconds, I think that would make my day to all the viewers as well.
Okay. Let's see what I can do on the spot.
On the spot.
Thank you for watching another great episode of The How Did Show. Today featuring Jonathan Torres, aka Number One PR.
That's my man. That's dope, son. That's dope. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's dope.
Off the top. But thank you again so much for joining, man. This was a blast, man. I had a great time talking to you. And yeah, wish you all the best, man. Health, happiness, and all that good stuff. And yeah, man, everybody out there, be sure to check out the next episode of The How Did Show. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me and having some fun as we interview some really, really interesting people. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more episodes of The How Did Show.